Councilman Cuesta.
Yes, Mr. President. Just a couple of issues. As the councilwoman stated before, you know, when you go door to door in a campaign, it's really interesting. The people you meet and the issues that come up. In my personal experience, I was able to address quality of life issues, which are usually the ones that people talk to you the most about, you know, the noise and the drinking, etc. But the second constant issue is the fact that the president of the Elizabeth Board of Education has not resigned. Now, I recommended introducing a resolution months ago, and we did, and there was much discussion about it. We talked about the fact that people are innocent and they're proven guilty, and of course I strongly believe in that. The fact of the matter is that now Mrs. Munn has been indicted, a state indictment. Doing a little bit of research, I found out that her application, not only did she lie about the income, but the lie exceeded $100,000. I think it's time for us to introduce a second resolution demanding her resignation immediately, because we no longer can trust an elected official who still is the president of the Board of Education. And Mr. President, I have to tell you, I was quite upset a couple of weeks ago in May when I read a pamphlet produced by the Board of Education celebrating Black History Month. It seems to me that, you know, something like Black History should be celebrated every month. However, in February, when we traditionally celebrated Black History Month, and they made the publication in May celebrating Black History Month, and one of the people they honored was Marie Munn. And a lot of people have told me that they have found that offensive. I have. I think it's about time for her to step down, and I would strongly recommend my colleagues support me in a second resolution, and that we should send copies of this resolution to the Commissioner of Education, to the board secretary, because then he has the responsibility of making sure every board member gets a copy, and perhaps the Attorney General. I know, because it has happened before in Elizabeth, I know that legally we cannot force her to step down, but I think morally she really should step down. And I wish her the best. I don't wish her any ill, but she's an elected official. She's been indicted now for theft. She has no business running the Board of Education. And in my personal opinion, she should step down now. Now, having said that, Mr. President, you know, in a school district, there are always rumors and speculation, and this is going to happen tomorrow, that's going to happen, and sometimes it's true. So I heard throughout the day today that she was going to resign tomorrow, and that a Cuban American was going to replace her. Well, that's all speculation. Until I see it, I won't believe it. So if we we agree to adopt a resolution tonight, and she steps down tomorrow, well, then my recommendation is moved, and we don't have to do it. But until I see that happening, I strongly would recommend another resolution demanding her resignation. She has no business being in charge of the Board of Ed anymore.
Mr. President, I strongly second Councilman Cuesta's request for resolution. When this first came up several months ago, I said, as elected officials, we need to hold ourselves to a higher standard. And I said at that time, if you are arrested for breaking the law, that should be enough. Some of our colleagues said, not good enough. Person's not been, we're not a jury. You know, and that's correct, we're not a jury. But now with the indictment, it's even more urgent that she resign, that she be removed from the board. Understand that we're not attorneys, this is not a court of law, but we have a higher level of responsibility to the people who elect us, whether it's Board of Education or City Council. And I'm strongly supporting you, Councilman Cuesta.
Thank you.
I just can't believe that she's not gone already. Thank you very much.
Can I just comment on it also?
Sure, Councilman.
You know, there's the old saying amongst politicians, I guess, the word appearance of impropriety.
Right.
Right. And I'm an attorney, and I defend people all the time, and I believe everyone should have a right in court and have a right to get judged by their peers, which is a jury. But like Councilman Keenan said, when you're an elected official, any appearance of impropriety, whether it's proven or not, casts a bad light on the institution of the Board of Education. we look very silly statewide and in other towns when we have our president of Board of Education made the Star Ledger twice, I guess. And she's still there running the schools. I mean, we look horrible. And I think that appearance of impropriety should be enough for her to step down, especially now with the budget.
Mr. President, also, just to finalize that point, and then I have something else I want to discuss, but the fact of the matter is, she repaid either all or most of the money that allegedly she had, you know, illegally taken from the board. So, I mean, if I'm not guilty, I wouldn't return a penny. She returned thousands of dollars to the board. So she has admitted publicly that she did something wrong. I mean, there's no question about it. Of course, eventually, either there will be a trial, or there will be some plea bargaining, or I doubt very much that the charges will be dropped. Something will happen. I want to use as an example, and I don't remember his name, and I should, but I think it was the mayor of Bayonne under the Corazon administration, who was suspected, Dorian. He was suspected of doing something illegal, and everybody came out in his defense because a man, and I had the privilege of working with him for several years at the state level in a commission that had been appointed by Governor McGreevy. He was highly respected. Everyone came out in his defense saying this man is innocent. And at the end of the day, when the investigation was over, he was found innocent. But yet, as soon as that came out, he resigned because he felt he had to. He didn't want to embarrass the governor. He didn't want to embarrass his constituents, and he resigned. And the man was innocent. It was really a travesty. He did nothing wrong, but he resigned. In this case, this person has admitted that she did something wrong when she returned the money. Why would somebody return thousands of dollars to the Board of Ed if she's innocent? I mean, that's... So there's no question in my mind that she should step down, and I hope that I get the support of my colleagues.
I think Councilman Jackas wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, it's interesting to hear this conversation between attorneys. What happens when something is dismissed? When a charge is dismissed and it continues. When the charge is dismissed, I always understood it to mean that it never happened.
Correct.
Correct.
Okay, so then why are public officials held to a different standard when a charge is dismissed? It never reaches trial and it is dismissed. What happens then?
Well,
What happens to that person when it never happened? It never happened.
Are you referring to this case?
No,
Oh,
I'm referring
in
to in general, in
Yeah.
cases
But in this
where
case,
they
in this
go.
case, there's a very likelihood that it happened in light of all the facts that are surrounding.
Well, I'm talking about cases in
And I
general
think they're-
that wind up in court with elected public officials and it's dismissed. It's like it never happened.
Correct.
It didn't happen.
Correct. There's a
But
difference.
why are then people held to a different standard?
Well, that's what the council.
Because you have a public trust when you get elected. You swear to the Constitution you're going to abide by.
There's no doubt. But
And
when
I
you,
think that if there's so much
when
facts
you-
that are in this particular case.
I'm not talking
facts
about that.
No, because there's a difference. Like, for example.
I'm not talking about
there was
this
the
case.
mayor of, what was that town up in Bergen County that just got,
He was found innocent, right?
he was found
He was
innocent.
found innocent. I met the mayor. Young man.
Suarez, I think, Anthony Suarez.
He was found
But
innocent.
that
correct.
was an allegation.
Yes.
Okay. In this case, it's beyond allegation.
I'm not talking about this case. I'm talking about cases that hit court that are dismissed,
And I think in
and the
each
allegation goes away.
Right. In each case, I think it's got to be held to a different scrutiny, but I think in this case, it's very specific.
I'm not talking about this one. I'm talking about other cases that are dismissed before they actually get there.